Welcome to the Core Meditation sales pitch, in a way. That's my intention of this video. I'm going to be doing a big rambling of whatever comes through. There's no plan for this video to give anyone that, if you're feeling like you need a little bit more of an understanding of the power of it and the way that it works and why you should or shouldn't practice meditation, I'm going to be giving the disclaimer and kind of the sales pitch on how the whole thing works and a little bit more about what is this devotional practice, twice daily meditation, all about. And so if you already know that you want to practice, you've been referred to meditation, you kind of just know you're going to do it, just skip on through, sign up, get yourself in. And if you're kind of curious and you're not 100% sure, then give me the opportunity to really sell you on why I've pivoted my entire business and life and direction to supporting people with meditation. Because I can tell you, if you'd asked me 6 years ago when I started meditating whether or not I would be teaching now, it's a 0% chance. But there's a reason why it's important to me and I'm teaching it. And I'm going to go into that now. So first and foremost, if you're here watching this video and you're feeling the call, you're in a very rare position. People get justify learning to meditate, putting in the time or feeling the pull to do it for so many different reasons. But in terms of the justification, but what it actually does is the same for everyone. And it's a very rare, beautiful, I'm going to use the word sacred calling to receive. And it's rare and it comes with a big chunk of responsibility and also like reverence, because devoting yourself to a twice daily meditation practice, what you're actually doing, and I'm going to pre-frame, I'm just going to speak truthfully here, meaning I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to try to use language that I think is more palatable. I'm just going to speak straight about what the last 6 years has taught me about the beauty and the power of having a transcendence meditation practice twice daily. So people think about meditation as, oh, I would like to be a little bit more relaxed in my life. And meditation certainly has the capacity to help someone combat anxiety or feel a little bit more grounded. These are things that naturally emerge, and they are powerful reasons to want to start meditating. Like I said, people get pulled into this or directed, guided to this journey of having a meditation practice for lots of different reasons. But underneath all of that, what you're doing when you're transcending is you're going from the manifest world, hello, we're here as human beings having this human material experience, to the unmanifest creative power of the universe. That's what's actually happening when we practice meditation. We are slipping through the cracks of the thoughts in our mind. We're going through and we're diving into the source of all creation. Now, which is pure love, pure awareness. Some people call it isness. Some people call it totality. Some people call it the absolute. Some people call it the divine. Some people call it God. Some people call it the spiritual heart. I call it the core, and that's why I call it core meditation. We're diving into that. It's not a just, let's see, have you tried meditation? Oh, my friend does meditation. There's so much more to it than that. And what happens is when you connect to the creative power of the entire universe, you're tapping into the intelligence of what directs and creates all of life. And there is a specific power and purpose from meditation where it allows us to bypass our human survival brain and go into the other aspect of our consciousness that I call the heart. But it allows us to go to that aspect that's not driven by survival, but it's driven by freedom and fulfillment. And so what happens when we meditate is so much more than just connecting to a more peaceful state. We're actually allowing the intelligence of the creative potential of the universe to guide us to our most fulfilled life. And so as much as you get the transmission of feeling what it feels like to bathe in complete fulfillment, complete fullness, when you transcend, when you meditate, the feeling, you get to tap into this straight away. But it also, and this is why this is a disclaimer in this video, you're also connecting into something that supports you to have so much spaciousness in your mind that the blind spots that have been blocking you from living your most fulfilled, most free, most empowered, most love-filled life, those blind spots come to the surface and change happens. That's what happens when you have a twice per day, 20-minute dive in to pure love, pure space, nothingness in which everything was created from. And the reason that this is a disclaimer is because change is really, really scary. And so you've come onto this page and you're like, cool, meditation, this sounds great. And I'm just here, not any sugarcoating, because I'll just talk straight. The way that I was taught to teach meditation is being very simple and kind of just talking about the real basic surface layer benefits of meditation, knowing that all this stuff's going to unfold. Whereas I've got a slightly different style of teaching. I like people to understand what it means from the start, because I believe that there's a deep knowing and heart resonance and connection when we start to speak about the truth. And that's what I'm speaking about right now. The real truth and essence of what this practice is about. It's about reorienting you to your most fulfilled life, which means that the patterns of unhealthy behavior, like the stuckness that you're experiencing, the stress, the overwhelm, the fact that maybe you're not fully on your purpose. Maybe your relationships aren't meeting the level of depth of connection that you crave deep in your heart. And maybe your life's just not exactly where you want it to be and where you know you deserve to be and desire to be deep in your heart. But it can be so difficult when we've got so much going on up here, where our survival brain is running the show, when that busyness, that stress, that reactivity is clouding the mind, it's very difficult to know what, how, and why we should change, because we can't see it. And I can tell you that there are things that you're going to have to let go of. So when I started meditating, I was working 100 hours a week in a business that I thought was my purpose. I thought I was there to make a difference. And I donated a bunch of money to charity. I was running a coaching business that impacted people's lives. But I couldn't see that all of that was driven from fear. All of it. That whole mission and purpose was a way that I was attempting to prove myself to the world. So even though I was creating some real world results from a success perspective, I was deeply unfulfilled. My relationships were suffering because I was so stuck up here that I didn't have the capacity to feel, see, know, and connect with the people that mattered most to me in my life. So I was living this life that everyone on the outside would have said, whoa, you've got the most successful life. This is incredible. And you're so young. Whereas inside, I was so lonely, overworked, overwhelmed, and deeply struggling mentally, deeply lacking a sense of fulfillment. And I had no capacity to see why. No capacity to see why. And I started meditating because I wanted to master spirituality. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm ready to dive into spirituality. I had an ex-partner of mine say, hey, you should start meditating. Did it thinking I'm going to be more energized. I'm going to be more peaceful. I'm going to be more connected. And then the intelligence got to work. I remember sitting in my very first meditation class of the course, similar to the way that this course is taught. I teach it slightly differently, but similar format. And I asked my meditation teacher, because I was so blown away by her energy, how did you become so connected? Because there's something about your energy that's so magical. And she said, meditation, of course. And I said, well, how long would it take for me to be able to, if I practice this thing you're teaching me, this practice twice a day, how long until I can experience a similar level of connectedness, a similar level of peace and groundedness? Because even though I was really successful, I was deeply insecure. I always had thoughts going crazy in my mind. And my teacher at the time, Laura, she said 6 years. And guess what? It's been 6 years. And guess what? My life has changed in every single way, more than I could possibly have asked for or imagined. But also in a way where if you had told me how it was going to change when I started meditating, I wouldn't have signed up, because there was too many things that I was attached to that I had to let go of. Sometimes you need to surrender some things in order to experience everything. And meditation guides that journey. So that's enough kind of riff-raff flowing with what it's about. And I want to talk a little bit more practically about what this practice is, the different types of meditation, because pretty much everyone has meditated at some point. You know, everyone practices meditation. Maybe that you do a guided meditation every night, or maybe you do a meditation once a week or once a month. Yeah, everyone has practiced and dabbled with meditation. But there is an enormous jump between doing it once a day or once a week or every few days or once a month, and doing it twice per day, 20 minutes per time. And there is an enormous jump between practicing any kind of meditation versus doing a transcendence meditation. I recorded a YouTube video called The Purest Form of Meditation, and a transcendence meditation is the purest form. So I'm going to talk about what the practice is, and I'm going to talk about what it is in context to the other types of meditation as well. So a transcendence mantra, man means mind, tra means vehicle. So mantra means mind vehicle. And a transcendence mind vehicle delivers us straight into being, straight into the core, the divine isness, etc., whatever we want to call it. And so we use a mantra as a very subtle central point of focus that we can come back to in that peace, in that nothingness, to give us something to orient our attention to very subtly. And then the power of that transcendence mantra gets to work. And it does two things. One, it processes stress. Okay, it processes stress, leaving you with lots of energy. Okay, processes stress, leaving you with lots of energy, and does some very intelligent healing work simultaneously. That's the first kind of like simply grouped benefit or task that it's doing. And secondly, it connects you straight to the creative power of the universe, which allows you, as you're bathing in that space, to become more like it. You become more intuitive, more perceptive, more aware, more fulfilled, more loving, more connected, more peaceful, more full. Okay? That's what it does. Now we've got kind of like a scale from most manifest or most tangible or most material to most unmanifest, most ethereal, most subtle. And there's most manifest, most real world, most kind of like abstract, woo-woo, spiritual, subtle. There's all the types of meditation that you can learn reside somewhere in that spectrum. Now, when we practice a transcendence mantra, we're going straight to the source. You cannot go deeper than that. And actually, when you drop into a meditation using a transcendence mantra, you have no cognition there. There's no capacity to perceive there, because you are literally bathing in oneness. And in oneness, it's impossible to have a thought, because you can't think, because to have a thought implies separation. So you literally don't even know when you're in it. You only know when you've come out. So you're not awake. You're not asleep. You're bathing in pure love. Now, all other forms of meditation, there can be some that are kind of similar to that, but and getting close to that range. Let's say the way that Joe Dispenza will try to drop people into a meditation when he says, connect in space. He's trying to get us to be more subtle, but you don't transcend, because he wants you to be in a pretty relaxed state in which you are receptive to change. In this case, we're just going straight to the source. So this is a foundational technique that you complement to any other personal growth, any other belief work, any other growth, evolutionary tools that you pull from personal development, spiritual development, any success tools. Okay. So that's a little essence of what's happening in this type. Surfing, going for walks in nature, that's all mindfulness. But if you do a guided meditation like a yoga nidra, that's like a body scan, that's a beautiful kind of connection technique that's up here in terms of how surface layered it is, which is still beautiful and powerful. And it serves a different purpose. But when we practice a transcendence mantra, the reason it is so powerful is because you're connecting directly to the source of all creation. You're transcending. You're transcending. And you need to be prescribed a mantra that you repeat that is a powerful resonance to it. Now, the only difference between the other transcendence meditations, because there's Vedic meditation, there's TM, there is the one giant mind being technique, and there's Core Meditation. These are the only 4 that I know. And I created Core Meditation. The technique is the same across all of them. The difference is the mantras. Now, I taught about 100 people to meditate 3 or 4 years ago when I became a meditation teacher. And then I actually stopped teaching. I kind of went on my own deep inner journey. And recently, maybe about 6 months ago, I was going for a walk, and out of nowhere, I just got told one mantra in my head, just dropped in as a straight download with a little voice saying, you're going to teach this. And this is not part of my plan, my purpose, my trajectory at all. It just came out of nowhere. And then I went home from this walk going, that's so interesting, because I've been hearing that sound and I've actually been saying it out loud without realizing that it was mantra, just randomly. And I kind of observed myself and thought, that's a bit strange. Then out of nowhere, this is the mantra you're going to teach with Core Meditation. And then I got home and I was like, you know what? I'm going to meditate and use this mantra. And the moment that I uttered the sound, because a mantra is just a sound that you repeat in your mind, the moment that I uttered this sound, I burst into tears, which doesn't happen to me. I don't cathartically cry very often. I don't have, especially involuntarily and spontaneously like that. And I just felt, oh my gosh, this is what I'm meant to do. And then over the next month after that, I got told another 3 mantras that are increasing levels of complexity to teach people. And so that is why Core Meditation is different. And I also teach a lot more of the theory, the deep science of what's actually happening, understanding on a deep theoretical level what's actually happening when you meditate, instead of just prescribing the mantra and telling you what to do and what not to do, actually educating you around the intelligence of the practice, what's happening. Because the thing that I've studied more than any other modality or philosophy or area of study in personal and spiritual development is Vedic wisdom. Veda is the yogic wisdom. It was established, and this wisdom has been passed down for thousands of years in ancient India. And I've spent a good solid 60 days in retreat learning about the ancient Vedas, learning about the wisdom. And so this it's got a very special place in my heart. And I just love teaching this. And so that's a little bit about the practice. That wisdom informs massively how I teach this. Because a lot of meditation teachers haven't done that or had that exposure. Excuse me. Hopefully that's clear now. And that massively informs the way that I teach this. So I spend a bit of time during the course going deep into that theory, because for me, understanding what's happening under the surface hugely motivated me to devote myself to the practice and be way more consistent with the practice. So there are three things that you get from learning this. When you learn core meditation, you've got the practice for the rest of your life. And there's three kind of things that I want people to get. I want people to get super competent, meaning master the technique, understand how to practice, when to practice, why to practice, what blocks practicing effectively. And the way that it's taught is over 3 2-hour sessions. I give you feedback on 5 different meditations and you iterate it every time, iterate your approach, iterate your relationship to the practice. And so you're getting more and more competent each time, which massively increases your confidence, which massively increases your consistency. So over the 3 sessions, by the end of it, you've mastered how to practice effectively. And that's my job. My job is to give you, you do this course, you know how to meditate effectively for the rest of your life. And it's a powerful, powerful, powerful tool. So that's pretty much it. The thing that you need to consider is, are you willing to let go of the fear that's going to come into your life and navigate that with courage in order to live your most fulfilled life? Because you're going to have to. You're going to have to if you start practicing meditation. You will probably spend the first chunk of time, 3 months to a year, processing a lot of stress stuck in the nervous system, while also helping you become incredibly intuitive and starting to see things a lot clearer. But you'll be clearing a lot of stress in the nervous system first. And then you're going to start to see things clearly. And you're going to realize how directed you are. Things will come to the surface that are no longer relevant, that are blocking you, and you're going to see it, be terrified to make the change, but you will lean in. Because what happens, or what I found with my practice and my experience and all my friends and the community that I've been in and all the people I've witnessed transform, is that naturally when you meditate, whether you want to go rapid fire or you're resisting the entire journey of change, things become intolerable. So things will be brought to your attention. You'll kind of know you need to make a change. And if you resist it, even if you don't change, it's going to get to a point where it's intolerable and you have to change. It's the fast track. And I coach one-to-one. I would coach people one-to-one on expanding and creating massive purposes. I've worked with a ton of multimillionaires and helping people with make huge impact and service in the world. And I refuse to work with anyone that doesn't meditate, because the rate of growth, the ability to take on feedback and implement change is just worlds apart. It is worlds apart. So sales pitch pretty much done. You know in your heart whether you feel aligned to practice or not. You know if you've had the call. If you've had the call, congratulations, because it's a rare thing. And anyone that I've taught, sometimes people come to me and they want to learn and then they're like, oh, I'll just put it off. The nervous system's terrified of the change that's about to come. And whenever they come back and learn, which they do at some point, there's always that, I wish I'd learned sooner. I wish I'd just gotten on the path and started the process of change to my most aligned and fulfilled life. I wish I'd started that journey earlier. And so congratulations, beautiful human. If you choose to do this technique with me, you can learn Vedic meditation or transcendental meditation or the One Giant Mind Being technique, and they're all the same technique, just with different mantras. So if you have a heart resonance with me and you feel a call to learn with me, it'd be such an honor to support you on your journey, because I know that this technique will change your life like it's changed mine and everyone else that I've taught or seen learn to meditate with a full devotional practice of a transcendence technique. You deserve it. You deserve to live your most fulfilled life. So feel into it. And if the resonance is there, the alignment's there, the knowing is there, let's do this. I love you and I can't wait to support you. You can do this, and I'll see you in the course.